This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. Police say it's a miracle no one was injured after an ambulance was badly damaged in a hit and run in the state's northwest. It's alleged the driver, who swerved into the ambulance, fled the scene just before 1 a.m. A 33-year-old man is now assisting police with their investigation after handing himself in earlier today.
Inspecting the damage of a crash that could have ended in tragedy. This ambulance was travelling east in Somerset in the early hours of this morning when a passing Volkswagen ute crossed lanes, colliding with the ambulance as it tried to avoid impact. The driver of the ute then allegedly drove away.
Very disappointing, yes. There could have been a patient inside of the ambulance, and it could have been disastrous. It could have been a very, very serious accident or crash.
The two paramedics were shaken but uninjured. Emergency services just thankful there was no patient inside.
It could have been fatal.
Police were quick to appeal for public information. And this morning a 33-year-old Flowerdale man came forward. He's now assisting police and is expected to face the Burnie Magistrates Court at a later date. Tasmania Police using this morning's incident to send a stern message to motorists.
Certainly if anybody is involved in a crash, through law they're obliged to stay at the scene and provide assistance if required.
Anyone else who witnessed the crash is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. MCCOMISH, Southern Cross News.
A 21-year-old man is awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to causing death by dangerous driving. A 15-year-old girl was killed in the crash at Old Beach in July last year.
Jade J. Swart walking from court this morning, appearing on charges of causing death and grievous bodily harm by dangerous driving. Those counts in relation to a crash at Old Beach in July last year. A car colliding with a power pole on Baskerville Road, the impact killing a 15-year-old girl. Through his lawyer, Swart today pleaded guilty to the two charges in the Hobart Magistrates Court. Because of the seriousness of the matter, he'll be sentenced in the Supreme Court in September. His other charges, including driving with alcohol in his body and being an unaccompanied learner driver, have been adjourned. Meanwhile, the trial for Jamie Michael Clark will begin here at Hobart Supreme Court tomorrow. He's accused of setting fires in southern Tasmania from June to September last year. He's facing 7 charges, including unlawfully setting fire to vegetation and property around Blackmans Bay and Oyster Cove, and 1 count of arson after a shed was allegedly set alight at Sandfly. The jury of 6 men and 6 women was today sworn in, with Justice Porter reminding them to be impartial, open-minded and remain free of bias when hearing the details of this case. The trial is expected to last 2 to 3 days. Louise HEDGER, Southern Cross News.
A woman and 2 children have had a lucky escape after their car was clipped by a train in Braddon around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Police are investigating the circumstances of the incident, but it's understood the woman was driving across the tracks at Station Street and may not have seen the train before it hit the car's bumper. All occupants received only minor injuries, while the train's driver is said to be extremely shaken. The clock is counting down on campaigning in Braddon, with Bill Shorten again returning to focus Labor's fight on health. The Liberals were today busy talking up jobs growth, while another former political leader added his voice to the mix.
Tasmania has anything but a clean bill of health, according to the Labor leader.
But in Tasmania, the out-of-pocket cost for seeing a GP has increased by 27% in the last 5 years. This is real money, and this affects the battlers the most.
Today wasn't the first time Bill Shorten has been to a doctor in Braddon. Health has been a key focus on Labor's campaign, talking up policy last night in Devonport, and today promising to include 20 Medicare staff out of 50 new Centrelink workers it's promising for the Northwest. The Liberals deny they're dodging health.
How could we neglect health when we're putting record amounts of money into health across the country and in Tasmania?
But there's been one very clear theme to the Liberal campaign, with factories and mines all regular backdrops. The Small Business Minister was today in Devonport at a jobs fair, hoping to find one in Parliament for his friend Brett Whiteley.
The reality is that as of June this year, Tasmania became the #1 state in terms of jobs growth in the country.
While in Hobart, Bob Brown was calling for national park protection for the Tarkine. The former Greens leader had this warning for the major parties.
It will come down to Greens' preferences. Simple as that.
Just 4 sleeps to go. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanian petrol prices could soon drop following the rollout of a new payment system at several service stations across the state. United Petroleum CEO says the company will now look at using the technology in city centres.
Tasmanians are no stranger to feeling the pinch at the petrol bowser.
They're a bit expensive at the moment. It costs me $50 to come up from the northwest.
They're about 10-15 cents a litre, dearer than they are on the mainland.
Currently in the state, filling up your vehicle with regular unleaded fuel will set you back up to $1.60 a litre. New technology at this service station at Lagana could play a part in changing that.
And for the 5 sites that we're trialling or piloting this particular promotion at, you can get the additional 6 cents after 6 discount, plus 6 cents if you're an RACT member.
An incentive United Petroleum claims could force competitors to drive down retail prices. The company says the new instalment also helps meet demand during its busiest hours.
Between the hours of 7 and 10 of the morning, it's very busy capturing all the tradies going to work, and obviously the people coming up north as well.
And with the station able to satisfy more customers, business is booming.
And we're seeing more and more volume, and customers come and visit us after 6 o'clock.
The company says it will now consider rolling out the new system across the state.
At the moment, what we're really doing is making sure that we understand from our customers what works well, and in the goodness of time, we will work out whether we can roll this out across the wider network.
Judy Augustine, Southern Cross News.
The government has announced it will expand Tasmania's meningococcal vaccination program following an outbreak of the disease in Hobart this month. Already, eligible teenagers and babies can get a free vaccination for meningococcal types A, C, Y and W. But a vaccination for the B strain costs hundreds of dollars. The Health Minister said the government would now consider how the current vaccination program could be improved.
The government will be reviewing our existing meningococcal vaccination program, which is state funded, and we will be expanding it, and we'll be doing that on the advice of the medical experts.
Nobody in Tasmania should be having to make a decision about how to protect their family based on their financial circumstances. But at the moment, people are, and that's not good enough.
The government is expected to announce additional funding for the program next week. Those curious about life in the circus have had the chance to try out the tricks of the trade at workshops in Launceston today. The interactive sessions come ahead of the Circus Oz performance of Model Citizens.
Hopefully they'll come and see the show in 2 weeks and get inspired and maybe run off and join the circus.
I would love to do a bit of spinning plates, juggling, and there's also some sticks and things.
The show will be held at the Princess Theatre next Wednesday. A new school lunch campaign at Bridgewater is dishing up hundreds of hot and healthy meals for students every day. The program all starts on the school's farm before students transform the produce into delicious meals to share.
From paddock to plate, each day the Jordan River Learning Federation offers a free, fresh and nutritious lunch to every student.
We'll feed the entire school over the 5 days, which is approximately 350 students. That's from 7 to 12. We'll rotate the groups through, but we'll also open it up on any given day to those students who want to come through.
The process begins on the school's Braddon farm, where students learn important agricultural skills. Once the produce makes it back to the senior school, it is transformed, cooked and served by hospitality and catering students. On today's lunch menu, chilli, coleslaw and tacos.
It is satisfying that you know, you made something what someone else enjoys.
The new program allows every student to eat a hot lunch every day, on top of a free breakfast also offered by the school.
We see the outcomes in the classroom and they enjoy it, they enjoy the social element as well, so that's really important.
When I first got here, there's a lot of kids who weren't even touching a carrot. Now they're eating things such as curries and stews, a lot of fancy French dishes.
With this trainership, yeah, I would further myself in life to get a proper job.
A brighter future starting with a simple meal. Michelle Wisbey, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed stronger, buoyed by mining, financial and healthcare stocks, in line with markets across Asia after solid earnings out of the US. The ASX 200 index has risen 38.2 points. Just a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 73.7 US cents and 82.09 Japanese yen.
Football Federation Tasmania is set to welcome a new CEO with Sydney-sider Matt Bulkelly soon to join the ranks. The organisation's president says the newcomer will bring extensive national experience to the organisation.
Matt's breadth of experience in a couple of different roles, and also when he presented an interview he had a real passion for growing the game and particularly at the grassroots level.
Mr Bulkelly will move to Tasmania and take over from acting CEO Michael McIntyre in August. Well, the wet weather might have been off-putting for some, but Championship driver ADRIAN COPPIN says the opening stage of the 2018 Subaru Rally Tasmania could be interesting if rain continues. The event officially launched this afternoon. He says Tasmania's unfamiliar territory could prove to be the biggest challenge.
A big learning curve. It's going to be tricky conditions obviously with this rain and lots of competition, particularly with the local guys that will be familiar with the roads. So for us it's a chance to come from the mainland and see what Tasmania has to offer.
This weekend's event is stage 4 of the Australian Rally Championship.
Good evening. Friendly beaches sat on top of the list today with 15 degrees. Hobart 14, Launceston 13, Burnie and Devonport 12 today. Very gusty winds across the state. Cape Grim recorded 109 kilometres an hour. King Island Airport also reached 3 figures. Overnight Yolla registered 34 mils of rainfall, while today the highest was 23 millimetres at Sheffield. Flinders Island and St Helens 14 degrees. King Island, Low Head and Grove 13, Ouse 12 and Strawn 11. A look at the maps will certainly show some cloud. Well, we think it would. There's the moving across the state today, wreaking all the havoc. On the wider picture, that cloud also bringing the wild weather to Victoria. Patchy low cloud sits across southern WA and also over the Queensland coast. High level cloud over central regions. Tomorrow a westerly flow develops over the state as a high drifts eastwards from South Australia, several troughs over the northern climes. Those winds will reach 20 to 30 knots, easing to 15 to 25 knots during the afternoon, swells between 5 and 7 metres, decaying later. Strong wind warning, that's for all Tasmanian coastal waters, a small craft wind alert for the lakes. Minor flood warning for the Ouse, Meander, North Esk and Mersey rivers, a flood watch for the north, northwest and northeastern rivers, along with the Derwent and Huon. Showers clearing on Wednesday for Hobart, 12 the top, 11 the high for Geeveston, a shower or 2 for Bothwell, 9 degrees the maximum. 13 for Launceston, conditions clearing. A morning shower clearing from Devonport as well, 13 the top, 11 for Cressy. Burnie can expect a shower or 2, easing later in the day, 4 overnight, 12 the top, 10 the high for Strawn with winds easing. Showers easing from Curry on King Island and 12. 13 for St Helens, Swansea 13 as well and 12 for Orford with clearer conditions over the east. Thursday, showers for the west, south and Bass Strait extending to the north later. Showers across the state on Friday. Not much though over the east again. They'll contract to the west and far south in the evening. A shower over the west on Saturday and maybe later for the north and northwest. Showers and an afternoon storm forecast for Perth tomorrow. Showers early over Adelaide, partly cloudy for Melbourne, Canberra and also Brisbane. Sunny in Sydney and Darwin. Partly cloudy conditions in Hobart, 9 at the moment, 8 degrees in Launceston, Devonport cloudy and 9. Conditions are clearing, Joe. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
And that's all from the news team for now. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you a little later with updates. Bye-bye.